the importance of fiber and specifically soluble fiber for when somebody does have diverticulosis, if they are diagnosed with diverticulosis, which is usually diagnosed by a colonoscopy. That's usually how they diagnose it. If somebody is diagnosed with diverticulosis, the best way to really prevent the diverticulitis, which is the inflammation of the diverticula, is to really consume a high fiber diet. I know it's easier said than done. Unfortunately, most Americans do not get enough fiber in their diet. So it is very, very important that we make sure we're eating tons of soluble fiber. So vegetables, fruit, whole grains, things of that sort. It's going to be very, very important to make sure that we don't cause this inflammation of the diverticula. And when we do have diverticulitis, increasing that fiber even more and really preventing constipation, sometimes we need to use, short term, like a Miralax or any sort of laxative to help really prevent us from being constipated. We don't want that to be a long-term solution. We don't want to be on that long-term, but for a short-term solution to prevent the constipation, along with that high fiber diet, we may need some sort of laxative, but we do want to make sure that we are going to be able to manage that diverticulitis with a high fiber diet. It's going to be super, super important. No fiber is too much fiber. That's really going to be the key in preventing diverticulitis and then also managing symptoms if we do unfortunately get diverticulitis in that diverticula of ours.
I'm actually making today shredded beef tacos. I'm going to do it in the pressure cooker, but you can do it in a crock pot. There's a lot of these Insta pots out. A lot of people have Insta pots. My suggestion is, however you feel more comfortable, if you want to put it on early in the morning and let it go for 8 hours. I did mine in a pressure cooker just because of time. So first of all, I actually just charred my onions a little bit. I just filled the roast beef. So I'm going to put this roast beef in the crock pot.
I did just want to mention, I know that beef gets such a bad rep. Red meat gets such a bad rep. Red meat, every so often in our diet, like twice a week, I'm eating every so often, not once a month. It's not the same thing as like a cake or a cookie. It is important to have our diet. Of course, if you're vegan or vegetarian, there are other things that we can do, but red meat does have heme iron, which is a source of iron that we cannot get in vegetables and we cannot get from other foods. So it is an important nutrient to have in our diet. So I just wanted to mention that.
I've also charred some peppers and onions and a tomato in there. I'm going to put them in. All right, so you have the onions in there, the beef that I've just seared on the outside. I'm going to put the whole lot on the top right there. Okay, then I'm going to add my spices. So there's my garlic. Okay, I'm just going to stick that in. I'm going to put a bay leaf in here. Put 1 or 2 bay leaves. It depends what size. All right, so we're going to put 1 tablespoon of chili powder. So chili powder. Then 1 tablespoon of ground cumin. This is garlic powder. In the recipe, it says Mexican oregano, but you know what? I'm using regular oregano. I'm sure it's just as good. Right, I have 1 little spicy pepper that I'm going to do. After this is pressurized, the meat's going to like shred. So I'm going to take the meat out and shred it so it's like, I'm going to show you what it looks like after. All these like big ingredients, I left them big because we're going to blend them after. All right, so we're going to put this little red pepper in. After everything's done is blend it, and then we're going to sieve it and have a juice that I'll show you what I mean after. All right, this is chipotle sauce. I'm going to put some chipotle sauce. There's lots of ingredients in this, I know. It's all good stuff. And some salt. I'm just going to do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You can always add salt, but you can never take away. I have a little bit of homemade sofrito. This has got lots of cilantro, garlic, red onions, peppers. I'm just going to put a spoonful of it in just to give it a little kick because I love sofrito. I feel like it makes it actually a little bit more authentic for some reason. Then some tomato paste. And squeeze of that. And then we're going to add our stock. That is what you're going to put a pressure cooker on. I'm going to pressurize it for 70 minutes. So it's 1 hour and 10 minutes. All right. Let me show you how the beef comes out. Now, I took all the big veggies out. I blended it and then I sieved it. What we're going to do is I'm going to spray my pan with a tiny bit of spray, light olive oil spray or avocado spray. And then we're going to dip this in here. Okay. And then we're going to put it in our pan, and we're going to get a little bit of shredded meat. Like it's briefly cheese. You can use mozzarella. I actually got this recipe from my daughter. She made it once and I actually really loved it. But she uses mozzarella. You got the idea. We're going to cook that for 1 second. Let that cook for 1 second. I'm just going to put the lids on these so I can show you. I made like a little homemade salsa. This is my homemade salsa, which is really, really nice. And again, you don't have to blend that much. I did chop some tomatoes because I do like a little bit of tomato on the top, like some chunks of tomatoes. You know, tomatoes are in season. They're absolutely beautiful.
They're delicious. Yeah.
I think I brought every kind of tomato there was. Because I couldn't make up my mind because they all look so beautiful. Right. Then I'm going to put half a jalapeno in there. I take all the seeds out. I'm going to put a tiny little bit of red onion in there, lime. So this is cilantro. So I'm going to put a bunch of cilantro. Then I'm going to put some lime juice. I'm going to use like a couple of limes because there's quite a lot here. Get all the good stuff out. Yeah. Smells so good. Yeah. I'm going to just put a little tiny bit of salt. And I'm going to blend it. So I just blend them up. Oh, it smells so good. I love the smell of this. This is like one of my favorite smells. You can always add a little bit more salt if you need salt, a little bit more lime juice. I chopped up some tomatoes because I like actually whole tomatoes as well. I like it a little bit more chunky just to mix in, you know, not have it all blended.
Oh, that's beautiful, Sam.
There is your salsa. Now let me show you the end result. So this is my platter. My drink of the week is strawberries and lemonade.
Really, when I think of fiber and like I think of a cruciferous vegetable, I love cabbage. I've been all in on the cabbage train, and I am making, it's kind of a take on a curried egg salad, which I happen to love, but I've been actually adding some. So I have my Ezekiel toast here. That is pretty much the only bread that I eat. It is filled with tons and tons of fiber. Ezekiel bread, you can find it really in any freezer section. So I have my piece. I'm not even going to show you what it looks like right now, pretty sad looking, just plain. But what I like to do is kind of build that up and to make a really good, let's say lunch, right? This is going to be a lunch tonight. And I love a good egg salad. I'm actually going to show you what I do to my egg salad to make it a little fluffier. And I use a potato ricer. But this is my secret in making a fluffy egg salad. I love it. I also love it small. And so what I do is I put the egg in here. I'm just going to show you. I won't show you with all of the eggs. But I usually use 6 eggs to do this. And what I do is I kind of mash it like this. Then you want to take a knife. This is my trick for a really fluffy egg salad. I just love it so much. I don't really like to use more than 1 egg at a time. So that's why it's going to take a little long. I'm just going to do 3 eggs just to show you. It doesn't come out the same when you put more than 1 egg at a time. So again, this is a real big time investment, but I'm telling you, it makes the most delicious and uniformly, perfectly seasoned egg salad. I'm going to do my 3 eggs. You want to use the whole egg here. Unless you have high cholesterol and you want to take out 1 yolk and just use the white, that's fine. If you don't have high cholesterol, eat the whole egg. There's so many nutrients in here. We're using the whole egg here. So this is already, it's so fluffy. Then what I like to use is a little bit of mayo. Mayo can be a healthy fat. Don't shy away from mayo. I use less than a tablespoon. You don't need a lot. And instead of using a lot of mayo for my egg salad, I do a little bit of mayo and then I do some Dijon mustard, and that's going to kind of help with some of the creaminess. So I use about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. You can use any mustard you want, but Dijon's definitely going to be on the creamier side. Then you're going to mix that up. I happen to just love the smell of this, and it's already so fluffy and again uniformed and just nice and small. Taste that. Tastes perfect. Then we're going to go for our curried cabbage. So I already started the process here, but what I did is I toasted some whole cumin seeds. That's the first thing we're going to do, in some avocado oil. You can use butter if you want. And then what I did is I added some garlic and my cabbage. It calls for green cabbage. I happen to have had a mix in my fridge of green and red cabbage. So that's been cooking down. You don't want it to saute. You want it to steam. So if you find it's a little dry in there, add some water. This is nice. We want to keep it a little bit hard because, keep it fiber. So we don't want it to get completely broken down, but just a little bit. Then I'm adding some turmeric because we're making this, like I said, a curried cabbage. You're going to mix that in. We want to get the turmeric a little bit toasted up. So make sure it completely covers all of the cabbage. Let it sit in there for a few minutes. It smells so delicious. You don't need to put the turmeric in there if you don't want. I just, again, it's like a take on a curried egg salad, which I happen to love. So what I'm going to do now, and you're going to see how I'm going to build up my lunch. So I have my piece of Ezekiel toast here, which again is pretty sad looking. It's pretty small. Always have 2 pieces if you're going to have this, because that's what's going to fill you up. So I'm going to take my egg salad that I made with my ricer and really load up some egg salad on there, because we want protein, we want the fiber. So we have our protein here. We've got a little bit well done, but it's fine. I have my curried cabbage here. And it's the perfect addition. It kind of looks like caramelized onions. It's such a perfect combination of flavor. It's very random and surprising, but it really, really goes very well. It's a super, super healthy lunch. You can add some greens on top. I just didn't have any. So you can put some parsley, sprinkle it on just to make it a little bit nicer. You can add some tomato to this, some avocado. Again, it seems very, very random, the flavors, but the flavors go so, so nicely. The cabbage is pretty benign in taste. It's that curry, it's the turmeric, the curried flavor that's going to come in. It's really a take on a curried egg salad, which I love. If you don't love it, this may not be for you, but I think it's so delicious. You can saute some cabbage with some onions, and you can add that actually into the egg salad. I do a lot of times with just sauteed onions into the egg salad. If you want to add some of that fiber, you can saute the cabbage and the onions together and caramelize them and add that into the egg salad, and it's super, super delicious.